Hey, welcome to Restoring Christine, the channel devoted to the restoration of the 1956 Chevrolet Bel Air right here in my garage. So today's episode is going to be a review on store-bought patch panels for the rear quarter. I have one for the passenger side and one for the driver's side. I received these a few weeks ago and I got to unpackaging them, and so today's video is going to be devoted to just looking over these two panels to show you the differences and to see if it's worth buying from the store or making yourself. So stick around for the story. So I mentioned in an earlier video that I bought some body panels, and one of them that I bought was this rear quarter panel section, just this patch panel that goes from the end of the rocker pan. So the rocker goes back to here, and then the fender picks up from here, goes up and over, ties into the door jamb, includes the wheel well. This particular fender on the passenger side, I don't know if you can see it, I'll get too close in a second, but it's got a patch back here. It's got a bad ding here that somebody beat out and welded through. It's got a problem with the lip that comes around here. It's just missing the factory shape. I don't know what the factory shape is unless I maybe compare it to the other side, if I can see it on the other side. But this is a bad Gorilla patch in here. They reimagined what this shape was. And there's more rust that's down here that's just getting worse. So this entire section, it would be easier for me to just replace the whole thing instead of repairing it. So I went online and I ordered what I thought would be easy, which was a patch panel, and it comes from basically here to the door jamb, and then from this stainless steel line down. That's about the height of the panel that you can buy. So I have that right here. And at first glance, you think that this would be the right thing to do, but I'm going to show you that it doesn't. It misaligns at the door jamb. The shape isn't exactly right. It has its lines. Its lines are not as crisp. The creases are not as crisp. I'll show you all that in a second. It's a disappointment. So this is made in America, apparently. It's full gauge. It's the full 18 gauge, so it's thick like the metal that I've been working with, and I just bought a flat piece of sheet metal to make my own panels, my own patches. This is also 18 gauge, so it's not the thin gauge, but I think that has something to do with why this piece is not as crisp. I believe that when GM and all the other, Detroit were making all this, when they were making these cars, they had a lot better tooling, they had a lot bigger equipment, they had stronger equipment, so the tonnage that it would take to press a fender panel and get it into the shape was probably multiples of what these replacement panel factories are doing today. I think with that, they probably are not able to forcefully press the panel to make the panel as sharp as it needs to be with the alignment that it needs to be. I saw another video, another YouTuber hypothesized. He said, okay, it's because if these manufacturers made a panel that was the same quality as what the factory originally produced, that they'd be sued. And I don't think that's the case, particularly not where I bought this panel, because where I bought this panel claims to be licensed by Chevrolet, licensed by GM. So I don't think lawsuits have anything to do with it. I think it just has to do with the quality of what can be produced in the aftermarket versus what was originally produced when these cars were built. So cars today are being made out of like 22 gauge metal. 22 gauge is a lot thinner than the 18 gauge metal. So some of the stuff that's being imported, and I'm not going to knock imported metal, but some of those parts are being made with a thinner metal, and even though it may be a higher yield strength, I'm assuming that, it may be that since they're smaller, they're easier to conform and they make crisper edges. So I think the panels that you buy, the pieces that you buy that are already coated black, they're already painted, I think those, which I've done, I've got a floor pan that I bought for a Cutlass, and all the lines were so crisp you couldn't tell the difference. I got a floor pan that I bought for this Bel Air, and the lines are crisp. You can't tell the difference. But this is one of these. It's coated but not painted, and this is made in the USA, which I paid a few more dollars to have made in the USA, thinking that I was going to get better quality. I might have gotten factory thickness, but there's trade-offs. One of the trade-offs is in the fit. So I'm going to show you where this panel doesn't exactly line up. I bought one for this side and for the other side. All right, so here's the panel. Looks good on the surface. Looks really good. Make sure you get the whole shot of it. So it's got the curve of the fender. It's got the curve at the bottom of the wheel well. It's got a lip at the bottom for attaching to the rocker panel. And it looks like, if you didn't have it next to the car, it looks like it's got a good shape here, the fold into the door jamb all the way up. It's got the return edge here. It turns in, and then it's got the shape wraps around a little further. I guess that's where some of the gasket material may be on the door seats. But when you look at this and you look at the door, you think, if you take your eye away from it, you say, yeah, well, that looks like it. And actually, it doesn't. First thing is, look at the corner here. Let's see if I can get it from the top. But the crispness of this corner, this bend right here, is nosed over compared to how sharp this is. And if you look, this inset sticks out maybe from a 1/4 inch down to about a 1/2 inch down at the bottom. It varies, but that's about a 1/2 inch all the way down. Look at it this way. It's got a bulge here where the door bumper is. But if you look at that, you can kind of tell with the shine. It's round, round, and then this flange doesn't really do anything. This flange is beyond anything that's on the door. So that there is no flange there. The flange is much further back, so I think this is just where they stop the panel. So I guess they're expecting to cut it and match it some other place other than along this edge. But this shape and this shape are two different things. I don't know if you can see it. It's going to be hard for me. I'm going to try to hold this fender on it. Here's another clue, is that when I pick this fender up, this patch panel, it goes over the wheel well. It goes over the door jamb. It goes over the door jamb here. Well, it's sliding. It goes over everything. And now you might be able to see what I'm talking about, the fit. So to say, if you were to buy this, and then you said, all right, I'm thinking I'm going to get all the width of this panel, and I'm just going to replace this and put it right in the car, and it's going to go from A to B and C to D and just be done with it. Nope, not going to happen. This ridge around the fender, the wheel opening, it's crisp here, and this is rounded over. They give you this flange as if, okay, just cut your fender here, here, lap it, weld it, and you're done. Nope, not going to happen. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up taking this panel, and I'm going to cut it where I need to cut it. But I'm telling you, when I get it on here, I'm keeping my door jamb. Sorry about that. I was hoping to keep all of this or replace this, but now I'm going to end up having to keep everything from the door jamb down. I've got a new rocker panel, so I'm going to tie it into a new rocker panel. I get this metal, I get this metal. I get everything there. Look at it from this side. The sun's kind of blinding with the door open. You can see how Frankenstein that panel is. But yeah, you know, when you look at it, it looks the part. When it's in the catalog, it looks the part when it's away from the car. But then when you put it up against the car, even though this is all jacked up, there's going to be a lot of work to make this supposedly factory fit panel actually fit. I've got the same issue on the other side. The other side's not so bad. Now this one, it looks like I probably have the factory curve on the bottom of the fender, the bottom of the wheel well. I have most of the, I don't know if you can see the ridge. There's like a 1/2 inch lip that goes all the way around. This was patched here. It was rusted here. Rusted below the stainless, rusted from the inside out. So I figured, okay, if I get this panel, I'm replacing all of this rust, because my alternative is to buy a piece of steel and just make it. In hindsight, I know I said this in a previous video. Yes, I could have bought the lower patch panel from, you know, store-bought. Could have gotten the whole section. And there's other parts of the car that I did that. I've got other parts of the car. I'm going to show you guys what I bought for it. But this was not one of them. And it's live and learn. It is what it is. Huh. Yeah. Well, knowing what I know now, live and learn. I don't know, I paid about 160 maybe, 140, 150, somewhere around there, plus shipping for these panels, thinking that they were going to save me a lot of work. That is such a simple shape, just a simple curve. I might have been better off to just make my own out of flat sheet metal. So, you know, if you've got a little bit of capability, maybe that's the way to go. If not, maybe you do buy the replacement panel, but just count on it. You're going to need to do some work. So when I get this panel, first thing I did is I took it out here, I put it on the car, and noticed that it overlaps everything. Just about. So, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done with this panel to make it factory fit. The seams are not as crisp. This is not as crisp as that factory edge. I can see it in the door jamb. It doesn't return well into this. These offsets are all different than what they should be. So I'm going to end up cutting this panel. I'm going to cut the door jamb lip off. I'm going to wrap it towards the rocker. I'm going to probably keep most of this sheet metal because that's one of the reasons why was to get this panel up to this point. But it's still a lot of work. It's not a matter of plug and play. You can't just buy this and expect this to just go right on. So I'll mount these in a different video. Right at the moment, I'm actually working on another part of the car. I'm working on the passenger side C-pillar right now, so I'm not ready to do these panels. But I had some time this morning. I figured, let me go ahead and show you guys this, give you some feedback. But for $150, it's your call. You know, you can make these work if you've got no factory lines to follow. If you've got minimal factory lines to follow, then this is your ticket. But if you've got most of your factory lines to follow, I wouldn't expect to buy one of these and just cut the quarter panel off and just put it on and then, you know, away you go. I just don't think it's going to happen. So hopefully this helps. Do appreciate all of you watching. So if you're liking the videos, I would appreciate a subscription. Help me out. Again, this whole channel is just about the journey. It's about this whole process. You might be able to hear it in my voice this morning. I'm a little frustrated. That happens. You know, it's not always fun and games. Yesterday I was welding away. I was in my element, and I was feeling pretty good. So today, I'm sure I'll get back in that groove again. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have moments where everything's trucking along, and you have moments where it's just like you feel like nothing's working, nothing's working out, you're getting nowhere. Best thing to do, shut it down, walk away from it, come back to it. Come back to it another day. New outlook. You'll have a different perspective, a different attitude, more patience. So don't get frustrated. Don't get discouraged. So again, if you're liking the channel, please subscribe. If you're liking the videos, appreciate a few thumbs up on the like button. Don't forget to check out all the previous episodes. You know, particularly the intro episode number 1, where I talk about the whole purpose of the channel, my story as a car guy, how I got into this, how I came to own Christine. You know, it's a pretty thorough story. So I apologize for the long-windedness. If sometimes my videos get long, I'm sorry. It's just the way I explain things. So anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.